Welcome back to the Tales of St. Gwen. This will be the final part of St. Gwen being a nanny. And so to begin, I had already failed this mission. I had shown my vulnerable side to Olivia, welcomed her to Sharon's sadness, and I made myself vulnerable. I no longer looked at her as a potential tool of chaos. I saw her as a young woman I could help. I hadn't been inside her room. She hadn't permitted me in there yet. But she did spend time with me in my room. She was creative, drawing while I looked over notes, and I got to know her. "You're losing track of the mission," Inquisitor Scully said sternly. "You are there for a reason." "I understand that, Inquisitor," I ground out, "but—" "No buts. You believe this child is the cultist leader?" "Are you going to cut me off again?" When he didn't, I continued. "I honestly don't believe there is a cult here."
"Then what is it?"
"I believe it is a young girl who misses her father. Someone is exploiting that."
"Someone or something?"
Inquisitor said. His gaze softened.
"I know that you feel for this girl, that you draw comparisons to your own life, experiences, but never forget that you are there on a mission."
"Yes, Inquisitor." I ended the call sighing. He was right. I was losing my objectivity, but I couldn't help myself. A knock brought me from my thoughts, and I looked over at my open door. Olivia standing there. "I'm sorry, was I interrupting your call?" "Not at all. I just finished. What can I help you with?" "I was wondering if we could go into town together. There's a park that I like to go to for drawing." "I would love to," I said, standing up. I holstered my pistol, noticing the small shrinkage she did. "I need to get out of this house." I accompanied her to the park, my glare scaring off any political reporters that were trying to talk to her, and we sat under a tree. "My father used to take me here," Olivia said, pulling out her sketch pad to start drawing. "Would he?" I asked, laying my back against the tree. "He thought that sketching real people would advance my skills. We would talk about anything and everything." "You must miss it." "I have days that are worse than others. I still have the conversations with him." This piqued my interest. "Oh?" "Sometimes we talk late at night, into the evening, even all night. We talk about the family, my drawings, anything." "How do you talk to him?" "He appears in my room. At first I thought I might be imagining it, something to do with losing him, but then he kept appearing and I started to talk to him, like I used to." My fist gripped at my knee at that. Someone taking advantage of a young woman made me sick. "Is that why you never leave your room?" "He says he can't appear in the house, only my room." "Strange." Olivia looked over at me, noticing the look on my face. "What made you become a sister of battle?" I looked back at her, weighing my options. It wasn't necessarily a decision, but my true purpose. I wasn't born in a plush world filled with beautiful greenery and tea parties. I was born to no one, in the grimes of a hive city, and left in an orphanage. How old were you? I was 5 when the sisters found me and gave me a purpose in life. And then what happened? I trained for years, till I was sent on my first mission. Met my commander. We sat in silence as she drew, mulling over my life story in her head. I escorted her back to the house later, greeted by the door of the younger children. "Duty calls," I said to Olivia, breaking off from her. Later I found a drawing on my bed from Olivia, of me. I was drawn with a halo behind me, my portion's perfection. I sat on my bed, burying my face in my hands, knowing this was only going to get harder for me. I had to move soon, or I wouldn't be able to do the necessary actions. After everyone was asleep, the house was silent, and I walked over to Olivia's room. She She should be asleep, so I can look around without worry. As I reached the door, I heard quiet arguing on the other side. She wants to help me. I put my ear to the door, hearing Olivia argue with no one. You say she is evil, but she has done nothing but help me. I heard her scream in pain, and I slammed the door open, no longer caring about discretion. Olivia was on the floor, unconscious, with no one else in the room. I wandered around her room, keeping her in my sights at all times, stopping at her desk. Across the wood were drawings, disturbing drawings. Many of them were of monstrous birds, some looking similar to play doctors of old. I moved some of the drawings aside, all of them confirming my worst fears. "Sister," the Countess asked at the door, having been awakened by Olivia's scream, "what is going on?" Without hesitation, I pulled out my pistol, shooting her in the head with a silencer. Her body fell to the ground, and I moved out of the room, reminded as to why I was here. I had no idea how far the chaos taint went, but I had a job to do. With quiet expertise, I shot the staff, the family, returning to Olivia's room as she awoke. What happened?" Olivia asked, looking at her mother on the ground. She looked at me, confusion clear on her face. "You have not been talking with your father," I said, picking up a picture she drew. "You've been conversing with a chaotic entity." "No, it appears to be my father. They can do all sorts of things, even pretend to be something they are not. You've been manipulated." "You're lying!" she screamed at me. My head snapped back at her, making her flinch. I held up my bolter to point at the symbol she had drawn. "This is the symbol of Tzeentch, the chaos god of uncertainty and change. You're not speaking with your father, you're speaking with a demon." Olivia shook under my gaze, my tone hard. "But I thought—" "Demons are masters of manipulation. They see your weaknesses and exploit it. I once told you that grief can take hold of you. You were vulnerable. You welcomed a demon into your home." "I didn't know." I watched as Olivia broke down in front of me, my heart being tugged in all different ways. "I just want my father back," she cried. "I just wanted my family to be what it was again. I wanted him to be alive." "What's dead is dead," I said. "No one should come back from the dead. Your father died of unnatural causes. Do you know that?" "Yes, he said—" "The demon said," I corrected her. It said that it was like a hand gripping him, stopping his heart." "The demons knew that his death would hurt you and saw your weakness. It would not surprise me if they orchestrated this whole scenario knowing it would give them a place in higher society." "What about my family? Did you have to kill them?" "Chaos spreads like a virus. Perhaps their behavior is in response to the demon." I picked up all the drawings, stashing them away for the Inquisitor, before moving my pistol to point at her head. "I'm sorry," Olivia cried, apologizing over and over again. I pulled the trigger, watching her body fall to the ground as well. I packed up my gear, not even hesitating as I shoved everything into my duffel bag, and left the room. I paused, looking into Olivia's room, her lifeless body next to her mother's. "I'm sorry," I whispered to her before leaving the house. I sent my report to the Inquisitor as I boarded the cargo ship, getting a response almost immediately that a cleanup crew would come and fix everything and the ship's location. I stayed silent the entire trip, only stopping once to pick something up before boarding the ship in the dead of night. Tim met me at the docking bay, still not able to speak. Without saying anything, I shoved a new vocal modulator at him, not even looking at him. His voice was better than those of the screaming children or her cries. I sat on my bed, feeling comfort in the hard mattress, pulling out the drawing Olivia had given me. I pinned it to my wall, laying on my bed, my mind fighting my heart. I knew I did the right thing. I knew it.
You did the right thing.
Tim's voice came. I took a deep breath, nodding. I know.
Is my voice still annoying?
Yes, his voice still sounded like sandpaper on my ears. But I remembered the screaming of the children. Yes, it is, but it's better than 6 screaming children. Thank you for coming to the finale of this 3-part series of St. Gwen being a nanny. If you liked the video, please give it a like, comment down below, subscribe, as it all helps the channel greatly. And I will see you in the next one.